Jesus freak here. In this book, near the back, there is a sort of, I guess you could call it a fact sheet. It's FAQ, frequently asked questions. Um, which they call, well, an outline of the faith, but it's basically, it's a catechism. Now, for the most part, I agree with a lot of the statements, but certain of the answers regarding baptism and sacraments in general, I have issues with. But a lot of the questions, I'd say, these are very much standard interpretation of Christian doctrine. My main issue has to do with the fact that it supports infant baptism. Now, the practice of infant baptism, I believe, most likely originated with superstitions regarding infants or young children being spirited away by the wee people or the fair folk. These superstitions are also responsible for a lot of mistreatment of autistic children. Yes, into the present day. Into the present day. Some of the superstitions is, still persist. The idea that they've taken away, hey, my child and replaced him with this thing when the child's just autistic. It still persists. But I believe the original idea is that baptisms were originally restricted to professing adults. And when they talk about, oh, a whole family was baptized, it was, all the adults in a family, because obviously, you had large extended families in those days. And I would tend to disagree on the whole sacramental system in most regards. I mean, a lot of this, ultimately has its roots in Scripture. Though I'm not settled on the implementation that the Episcopal Church uses, which, descends from the Church of England and from the Church of Rome. They're cautious about what they say about the Lord's Supper because they understand, certain things are rather controversial about interpretations of the Lord's Supper. So they use a real presence interpretation by which the bread and wine do become the body and blood, but not in a literal sense, but in a sort of, spiritual sense. And I can get on board with that, as I use the same interpretation. As someone raised in the Wesleyan tradition, I prefer to leave it up to interpretation as the Wesleys themselves did. I could probably get into more detail as to what this fact sheet of sort says, if if it's desired. Jesus freak out.